If you flip heads 5 times, are you due for tails? Hi everybody, my name is Greg Crable and this is my podcast, Something I Learned Yesterday. Today I'm finishing up my series on the works of Daniel Kahneman, some of the cognitive biases and things that he exposed with his colleague Tversky. Our brains have learned to take shortcuts, but these shortcuts don't always work. When they don't work, we call them cognitive biases. The representative heuristic, kind of hard to say, is a cognitive bias where we estimate the probability of an event based on how much it resembles other events. Unfortunately, sometimes we fall for superficial similarities in that analysis. For example, if you're hiring a librarian, you might think the quiet person who wears glasses and always has a book in hand is a better candidate than the extroverted candidate. In that case, you're assigning too much weight to superficial details like glasses and so forth. Or consider there's a pool of 1,000 people, and you know that 70% of them are lawyers and 30% are engineers. One person is randomly selected from that pool, and he's wearing a pocket protector. You assume he's an engineer based on that superficial detail of the pocket protector, even though it's more likely that he's a lawyer. The gambler's fallacy is a twist on the representativeness heuristic. If you're flipping a coin and it comes up heads 5 times in a row, the gambler might assume that a tails is due because 5 heads in a row doesn't seem representative of the expected 50-50 distribution. But every flip is independent of the flips before it, so each flip has a 50% chance of being heads. There is an important exception to the gambler's fallacy to keep in mind. If we switch from a coin to dice, and we see that 3 has come up very frequently, it's also possible the dice are loaded. In other words, a departure from the expected distribution might be from chance. Reality is clumpy. On the other hand, it might not be as random as you think it is. In other words, the die might not be as random, the coin not be as random, the roulette wheel might not be as random. One of my favorite illustrations of the representativeness heuristic is when people combine 2 factors. Let's say Linda is 31 years old, outspoken and very bright. She majored in philosophy, was deeply concerned with issues of discrimination on campus, and she took part in anti-nuclear protests. When people are asked whether it's more likely that Linda is a bank teller or that she's a bank teller who is active in the feminist movement, many people choose the latter, even though it's less probable. It's always less probable that someone is A and B rather than just A, right? So why do they do this? Because being involved in the feminist movement seems more representative of Linda's apparent personality than being a bank teller. The point of the representativeness heuristic is that people often judge the probability of an event or the characteristics of a person based on how much they resemble a typical case or a stereotype, rather than using actual statistical reasoning or probability. To avoid this mistake, keep these things in mind. Consider the base rate. Take into account the actual statistical probabilities of an event. Consider multiple points of view. Educate yourself about common cognitive biases. Slow down your decision making. Remember, cognitive biases are shortcuts. Use the representative heuristic against itself. Learn examples of this fallacy, and then you can recognize, oh, this is like the gambler's fallacy, or oh, this is like Linda. So anyway, I hope that was helpful or interesting, or maybe both. If there's anything I can do to help you with your business, please give me a call. You'll see my contact information on the next slide. Thanks so much.